Well, hello everyone. It's Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps, and my fingers are too fat. They just push the wrong buttons. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to Mid-Atlantic Craps. It's another episode of G and me and Common Sense Craps. It's just a small little talk show that we're going to go through and talk about some common sense. It's episode 3, the third time we've done this. Last time we had our good friend Ed from Roll to Win Craps on with us. It's just G and me tonight, and this is episode 3. We're going to talk about, what was the theme again, G? The theme was?
Mastering your play.
Mastering your play. And before we get started, there's a poll up. If you guys could answer the poll that's in the chat, it'll help G when we get into the common sense talk here in just a little bit. But welcome to the show, guys. G, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing super. It's getting close to Christmas. I got some of my Christmas presents already. I got some on the way. It's all about G this time. I told my wife, I said, last time it was about you. This year, it's all about G.
It's all about G. Well, that somebody said, and I don't know who that was, that there is a giveaway tonight. They all know that I'm going to be giving away a sleeve of dice. So we're giving away a sleeve of dice, the Craps Nation dice. Right there in that box. I'm going to give away a sleeve of that tonight. But they said you were going to give away something, and somebody told me that you were trying to give your wife away, but it's the other way around. She's trying to give you away. Is that correct?
I can't give her away. I'll have to pay somebody to take her.
You better watch it. She's liable to come down there and see what you're doing. Oh, Craig, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That super chat for Craig. Thank you. It's to G and his co-host, the Mr. DeVoice. That is me. So, G, look, we've done this before. We're going to take about 30 minutes to talk about just common sense things, some advanced, some not advanced, and then we're going to answer some questions, and somewhere in between that, I'm going to give the dice away, and then towards the end of the show, you're going to give your dice away. Once we get to the question and answer point, we might tell them what you're going to do, which I don't think we really decided because you gave me, Bailey, stop. You gave me options.
And we have a teaser.
On me.
We have a teaser towards the end. But before we forget, a lot of times the people in the community come in and watch our shows, so we take it for granted. First of all, to say thank you and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I like to be one of the ones in the camp of saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. But we also take for granted some of the people that may be coming in from outside, new subscribers watching. So if you would just allow me the 2 seconds to say, this is a non-profit show. We don't ask for money. We don't take money. We don't, both of us, as a matter of fact, we give away money sometimes, based on the giveaways that we do. But we share from our experiences. We give out opinions and suggestions about, how to, not betting strategy or any of that stuff, but, common sense about craps and how you behave yourself at the craps table, how you deal with situation, just stuff like that. And if you're a newcomer, stay around and listen to the show. It doesn't cost you much. It's only an hour, and you might benefit just a little bit of it. So and for the folks that are in here, it's business as usual.
It is business as usual. I think that was the disclaimer. I think Jay wanted to illustrate that we're doing this out of just to be able to bring something, maybe a little difference on a talk show or about the game of craps, and we give you the opportunity to ask the questions live in the chat. So for those of you that are just joining us, there is a poll in the chat. If you could take a moment and read it and answer it, that'll kind of guide Jay through what he's going to talk to you about here in a few minutes. Jay, let's go ahead and say hello to some people that popped in here first. Let me get over to my queued up stuff. I think I had everybody through Craig. I think I just popped in there. The first person that was here was Mrs. Big Money, and let me go this way with this. Mrs. Big Money was here first. That was earlier this afternoon. I think she was probably on the earlier stream from today. And then Frank, who's on his way through Alabama right now. I don't know why that came up that way. Who's on his way to Alabama. She is he said hello. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this thing straight here. And then John came in from Pro Craps and said hello, and he also said he was out to dinner. He's going to check the replay. Hopefully, John, you'll fast forward past this part because I started the show off on a bad note. Brian, how are you doing, my friend? We had Mr. Boogie in the house. And Gargoyle, what are you doing in the chat? Well, you're right here on screen. Got Trey.
I can't help it, man. Bad habits. I can't help it. I gotta run my mouth and fingers at the same time.
Well, do you have any cookies for that coffee today that you have sitting there? Is there any Oreo cookies with you?
No, I ran out of any kind of cookies, so I'm gonna be I'm gonna keep it G-rated tonight because I ran out of cookies.
You kept saying that in the chat all week long. Well, let's go ahead and say hello to Trey. Trey's with us today. Lou came in. That's sweet, Lou. Good evening, everyone. And the host, Old Bay Craps. That's Craig. Our good friend Craig came in. Did I miss somebody? View all. Go back to the queue. I got Chris Dice-Dejan. Did I get him? Chris is with us. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show. Clay came in after that. And Blazer's with us today. Hey, Blazer, how are you doing, my friend? Merry Christmas to you. Now, get this one. Now get this one. Mark Mad Hatter, who I found out is 8 years older than me this morning on Joe Crapsmaster Journey's show. He says, hey, G. And then about 5 minutes later, then he goes inside to say, hey, Jeff. And then he wanted to know if the dice have been untouched that I'm going to give away in the sleeve of dice. So far, they're untouched. So tonight's sleeve of dice, Mark, will be untouched. But if you win, I'm going to take every one of those, and I'm just going to touch every single one of them in case you win the dice tonight. Phil, welcome back to the channel and the show. Guys, I appreciate that. Is there anybody else that I missed here? We do got a couple more people coming in here. We got Shooter Craps. I'm going to go backwards now. Shooter Craps is with us. Hello there. Hey, Victor, welcome to the show, my friend. Is that Tarango? I think that's what that says. Nick S. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going to stop with that because we're coming up on the 10-minute mark, G, and we need to get into the show. So real quick, I want to remind everybody that there is a poll, and we only have 25 votes, and we've got 40 people watching. If you can, in the chat, it just says, do you care how you make your money at the table? Just click one or the other, and G's going to talk about what all that means. With that said, I'll say hello to my good friend Mel. Clear the screen, G, and let's get this common sense stuff underway.
All right. So tonight's theme is mastering your play, and it's about using common sense in the casino. It's not about strategy. It's not about betting. It's not about knowing how much the payouts is. It's about mastering your play at the table. About knowing what's around you, what do you do, what's people doing, and how to react. Because, we all want to go to the casino and win money, right? And I have a poll out there that says, do you care how you win your money at the table? Because there's some common sense to use in that. And tonight's episode is really pretty cool because it doesn't matter if you're a DI, you're a chuck and luck, you're a don't player, right side better, a hybrid, strategist, it doesn't matter. This episode is all for you because everybody in that column can gain something from some of the common sense used right here. So let's get into it. So we'll start with somebody that's a DI, for example, right? Most DIs, about 80% of them, they're par tossers. There maybe 20% that are off access or something else. If you use a par toss, you're usually position 1, maybe 2, anything further, and then you have volatility because the more you go away from the back wall, the more volatility you have with your toss. So you go into the casino and you come in, positions 1 and 2 are taken on both sides. You go all the way to the end. There's one position straight out. Okay. Do you throw the dice? Do you pass the dice? Do you care how you're going to make your money, whether you're throwing the dice or somebody else throwing the dice? Common sense says, hey, Practice like you play, play like you practice, right?
I've heard that before.
If you only, that's Ed, yeah, that's Ed, but Ed uses a lot of common sense, right? Ed from Roll to Win. So practice like you play, play like you practice. So if you spend a lot of time practicing the par toss from stick 1 or 2, you go out to the to straight out and you want to throw from there. Why do you want to throw away hard-earned money on a table with, I'll give it a shot? I can't tell you how many times, DIs that I've been out with and stuff like that, and positions taken, and it's like, well, you know what? Never thrown from this position, but I'll give it a shot. You can, but I'll keep my money in my pocket, because that's not where you usually throw from. If you're not a DI and you happen to stand at stick 1, and then somebody walks into the casino that you've seen shoot before, you've seen them set the dice and throw and stuff like that, and you may think that, hey, if that person is here in my spot, they throw their toss, I may make some money off that person. That's common sense, right? Do you give up your position and say, hey, come stand here? Or do you just stand there and say, well, if you wanted this spot, you should have come in early. That's my spot, and that's where I'm standing, right? So mastering your play is finding out what's going on. If you're a DI, if you're a chuck and luck, you walk in, figuring out what you want to do.
Are you saying
right?
the words chuck-a-luck?
Chuck-a-luck. Chucking and lucking. Okay. Chucking the dice and praying for luck.
Okay.
Chuck-a-luck.
Okay,
yeah. It's if you're somebody that doesn't believe in DI, do you bet the same way on somebody that's setting the dice and throwing, and they claim to be a dice influencer, or do you play differently? At the end of the day, you're there to make money. Do you care how you make your money? Because I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to have opinions, just my opinions, supporting what I'm going to tell you. There's not facts, it's just how G thinks. It's not about you. It's about the person holding the dice, whoever that person may be. You may not be a person that believes in superstition. But if the person that's holding the dice believes in superstition, the dice goes off the table, stick change, everything, they say, well, turn me off. Do you turn your bets off? What's your play? Do you very nicely tell the dealer, hey, turn me off, and then you pass him a couple of green chips to make a lay? Are you an asshole? You throw chips in the middle of the table and say, hopping reds, just to fluster the dice tosser more than he's already flustered because something happened? Because remember, again, you don't believe in superstition, but the person holding the dice is now all of a sudden flustered. They're off their game. They're off their confidence. What's your play at that point? Do you say, I don't care, leave your bets on, even though that person turned their bets off? It's what they're thinking, not what you're thinking, regardless of what you believe in. It's what the person holding the dice believes in. I saw an episode, John's not here, I saw an episode earlier. I watched John's episode in replay. He stood there and he said, you know what, I should have my bets off because I know I'm going to throw a 7. And guess what? He threw a 7. Because he knew he was going to throw, he pretty much brought it upon himself, right? But regardless of all these decisions, what is your play? You should master your play. You should know, hey, I do believe in that, and I don't believe in that stuff, but if that person believes in it, that person flustered, I'm not usually a don't player, I'm just going to turn my bets off and hope for the best, because the shooter turned their bets off. If you're at the table with a bunch of people that know how to throw the dice, they're dice influencers, and you're like, I just know that group. They come in and play, and you know that they get flustered when a waitress comes in. Do you order drinks? Or do you say, you know what, I'm going to see if I can, get them positive energy and let them throw the dice and maybe I can make money? Because, if the waitress comes and you order a drink, she's going to come again because she's going to bring you your drink. So if you don't want the waitress there, just say no thank you. She won't come back for a while. I mean, common sense, right? But, you have to master your play at the table for different incidents and different situations, whether you are holding the dice shooting or whether somebody else is holding the dice shooting and you're seeing stuff around. Does it kill you to make way for somebody that believes they can throw the dice and give them your position if you don't care about that position? Somebody once told me, that person is no longer with us. He said that if the casino gives me a 51-49 chance, I'll take that every day of the week and twice on the weekend instead of 50-50. Regardless of whether they believe it or not. If somebody's flipping a coin and then someone comes in and says, you know what, if you close one eye and put your head like this, instead of 50-50, if it's heads or tail, it's going to be 51 or 49. Does it cost that person anything to go like this? Probably not. Most of the time they'll laugh at you, but the smart ones will say, you know what, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see. It doesn't cost me anything. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see. Does it cost you anything to give out your spot? I once offered in Biloxi, we were at a class with Heavy. There was a lady sitting at stick right one, and I wanted to shoot from there because that's where I've been shooting. I was hot at the IP from there. I gave her $300 to give me that spot. She's there, local. Her goal was to win $100. This is how stupid people are. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep it G-rated. People sometimes are really stupid. She's there to make $100 and then go home. I gave her $300 to give me that spot, and she said no. Because she wanted to stand there. She wanted to stand there and shoot the dice from there. And somebody's like that. She's crazy. She's here to make $100. I think one of the dealers, after she left, said she's crazy. She comes over here every day trying to get $100. You gave her triple that, and she didn't move because the dealer heard me. But me, I think I have a better chance of shooting there. And if you're at the casino, you're at the table, and you're betting money. If you hear somebody says, well, I have a better chance, you're going to do your play on him anyway, or her, right? You're going to either play the don't. You have a play in mind. Are you going to change that play because you heard somebody says, I can shoot better from this position, and they get into that position? Is that going to change your mind? You have to make that decision right there and there. Right? You can't practice that at home. You can't go home and say, okay, I'm going to practice. Somebody says I'm a DI, I'm going to ignore him. No. Those things happen right there and there. You have to be able to master your play. Those scenarios will come more often than you think. More often than you think. Somebody buying in for $50 bills, what do you do? Do you stay at that table or do you leave? We're not going to go in there.
Hey, G, got an echo when I talk.
You have an echo when you talk?
No, I can hear myself through you.
I'm muted on everything. So let me turn the. Can you still hear me okay?
I hear you. I was hearing an echo. Whatever you did fixed it. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Yeah. Some people are superstitious about driving. I can tell you, I'm superstitious about Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, I don't leave the house.
I have no superstitions.
But then what do? I married a woman that was born on Friday the 13th. did that on purpose. I did that on purpose. Hey, honey, sorry, we're not going out for your birthday tonight. It's Friday the 13th.
Is that why we didn't do the show tomorrow night?
See,
well,
Jeff's on board. Jeff's on board.
That was an interesting concept that you had about from mastering your play of knowing where you're good at and politely asking somebody if they'll switch with you. I got a question queued up here from Craftsmaster Journey Joe that I'm going to play in a second when we get to the question and answer portion of the program. But the idea of walking up to the table and having superstitions. Do you really have those superstitions? In my mind, inquiring minds want to know, because the only thing I'm superstitious about is when somebody buys in the middle of the roll, especially when I'm shooting, and they don't place a bet. But that's not superstitious. That's just stupidity. Anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, casinos have coolers. Casinos will do some casinos, not all, but most casinos will do what they can to throw you off your game if you're a dice setter. I have my superstition, but like, for example, if I'm throwing the dice or somebody's throwing the dice, I don't turn my bets off if there's a stick change. But if the person that's throwing the dice turns their bets off, I turn my bet off.
So that's not superstitious. You just think because the person is shooting, whether they're shooting, what you called them earlier, shake or something or other.
It's not about me. It's about the person holding the dice. If they're throwing and there's a stick change and they say turn me off, I'm turning my bets off because I'm following the shooter. They're flustered about something. I'm following the shooter.
Even a random roller? Of course, you don't bet.
Even a random roller, yeah. Okay. Because they may be following their own rules. They may be flustered. Years ago, I was at Cherokee, and I was the only DI at the table. It was full people, just random people, but we were all having fun. And I forgot what happened. Something happened, but I was the shooter, and I asked. Yes, there is.
I had to put that up there.
Yes, there is. Well, we are keeping it G-rated, and G-rated means I can say drop the F-bomb at any given time. Don't remember what happened at the table, but I turned my bets off, and the guy that's next to me saying, "Why did you turn your bets off?" And I said, "I'm just, just in case." He's like, "Oh man, you're not feeling it," and he told the dealer to turn their bet off. 3 of the other people straight out were friends, and they're like, "Oh, turn our bets off." So the dealer, pretty much took all the laminates and took the puck and turned it off, even though we were in the middle of the roll. The pit boss comes in and says, "Hey, the point is, whatever it was." And he's like, "I know, but everybody's off." The other side of the table says, "Why are you going off?" He's like, "Well, the shooter turned his bets off, and we're turning." So they turned their bets off. So it was 2 off buttons in the middle of the roll where there was a point already established. And the pit boss says, "I have never seen this in my life. I've been doing this for 28 years. I don't remember if I made the point or something. I don't know. But moral of the story is those people, they weren't DIs, they weren't anything, but they saw, and they had a lot of money at the table. They saw me flustered about something. They were smart enough to follow me, regardless of what happened. It's about the person holding the dice. I am superstitious about some things. If the dice fly off the table, I say same die. So,
well, let's relate that back to your poll, and I pinned this up here for Joe. He said this a little while ago, and I don't know if he's already at work or he's listening on his way to work. But this is early in your conversation, and I'm going to put a question up in a few minutes from him as well. So if anybody else has a question, now is the time to start asking the questions that you might have. It doesn't necessarily have to be with what G's topic is today. If you have something else you want to know, we get time to get to it. We're trying to keep with mastering your play. And as you can see here, Joe says it's about practice, confidence, and knowing how to read what you're doing. Now, G, you put a poll up. You put a poll up, and relate that poll to what we're talking about now.
You shouldn't care how you're making your money as long as you're making money. It doesn't matter if you're the person shooting the dice or somebody else is throwing it. When we were in Biloxi with Oz, myself, Ed, and some other person, and we went to the IP, and there was just somebody picking up the dice and throwing them right before me, hit the ATS, and we made money. Ed wanted me to shoot, and I'm like, no, I'm gone. I made $8,000. I don't care. I don't care if that to shoot. Some people want to be relevant and shoot, but you shouldn't. Now, some parts of that is, yes, you should care. Like, you don't want to make money off of somebody's misery, right? Like, I wouldn't want to, add on, fluster somebody just to make $10 because I bet I bet the 7. But this is just me. But for the most part, you shouldn't care how the money's coming on your rack, as long as money is coming to your rack. Whether you're the shooter, whether somebody else is the shooter, and it doesn't matter about what you believe in. It's the person holding the dice. If they have confidence, they're gonna have a long roll. If they get flustered, they're probably gonna have a bad roll. Not because they're a good shooter or bad shooter, but because something's messed with their mind. When something messes with somebody's mind, they're gonna get flustered. If they care about that stuff, then they're gonna have a bad roll. If it's just somebody's taking the dice and throwing it and they don't care about that stuff, then you could just say, oh, I'm not worried about that. This is why it's mastering your play, mastering what you do at the craps table. Let's take a few questions.
Well, no, let's talk about the poll, then we'll get to the question. So we talked in the green room prior to the show, and it's a little backwards from what you thought people were going to say. You thought people were going to say, no, they didn't really care how they make money at the table. It's 65-35. We've got 34 votes out of 50 people. So we've got the majority of the people that are here that have made the vote. If there's a poll in there, guys, if you want to hit it and help us. So you were saying that most people wouldn't care how they made their money, but it looks like they do care.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know what? Some of you that said yes, you care. Just put it in the chat. Just put poll with a semicolon, and then put down why you care. Let's pick some of those, because did the poll reset?
No, I've got it here. It's 66-34. We're up to 35 votes. But
Okay.
I just wanted to go over the poll because it's backwards, because we were thinking, I should say you were thinking that people just go up to the table, drop whatever they put on the table. Your average player, not somebody like you that comes in and buys in for $5 or $6K, but the average player, person comes up there, drops $3, $5, $1,000, that they really don't care how they make the money at the table. Looks like the poll, which is evening out now, was about the same. Was that people did care? It's still leading. The poll's still leading.
I'm still surprised. I'm still surprised we got that many yes, because usually people shouldn't care how they make their money as long as they're making money. That's common sense. So that's why I'm interested to know, why. Shooter Craft said, I never play the don't side, so they care about how they make their money.
You got a new best friend.
I do have a new best friend. You and me, we're gonna be hitting the tables together. Like I said before, as long as people are not being rude and forcing people off their game, most of the time it's like, I don't care if I'm shooting the dice, I don't care if somebody else is shooting the dice. I just want to make money. Like Meeson said.
Right.
And he's right.
I just wanted to, we took a poll, and it's about 50-50, and I Joe has changed his vote back and forth, but you really thought that the majority of people are going to say no when they actually do care how they're making their money at the table. I mean, it's their hard-earned money. People with deep pockets don't care because they can come and do whatever they want to do, but the average player, my average player, buying from 1 to 2,000 is where I am now, I care where I make my money at the table. I don't bet on every shooter the same way. I do play the bonus bets, my choice every time. I've hit more bonus bets on randoms than I have on people that appear to be setting the dice. But the portion of what I do is, I may not bet a player, or I may even run a 6, 7, 8, which I know you're cringing because that puts me on the dark side. But that's my choice, so I do care how I make my money.
And listen, there are a lot of people that I go play with, and we get along very well. They are don't players, but they're polite don't players, and a lot of times, I mean, just recently at the bash, the brown water bash, I literally told Justice Jen and a few others, I said, why don't you guys go hit the table by yourselves? I'll stay where I am, because
I was there.
You were there. You heard me tell them, because I know you guys don't, may want to play the don'ts and play your strategies, and I don't want to be, stopping you. And some of them did go. There was one time they said, no, we're going to do what you want and stuff like that. I usually, if a don't player comes in, usually I'm at the table by myself. But if a don't player comes in, I give them the table, right? I only get upset is when somebody that we know, part of the group that we're going to go and sit at the table and play, and they start playing the don't. That's when I just tell them to get their fucking chips off the fucking table. You know better. You know better than that.
So much for
right.
G-rated.
Yeah, you know better than that, right? But for other people, look. There is a right way to play and a wrong way to play, but it's not that playing the don't is right or wrong, or playing a strategy is right or wrong. If you go in and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't have a lot of money, but you want to put 5,000 on each, and lose all your money, that's the wrong way to play, right? Unless you have disposable income, which I still don't know what that means. Are you just taking money throwing in the trash? But that's your hard-earned money. Common sense says play it the way you need to play it in order to win. Maximize the way you play in order to gain your wins, whatever that is. You've heard me say before that sometimes you just need to play the don't on some people. I won't, but sometimes if you're okay with it, play the don't. I saw some of the chats and I appreciate it. I forgot that. Calico. I appreciate what you said. Yes, buddy. I appreciate it.
The poll wound up being 60-40-ish, not in favor, but said that yes, they do care. So let's move over to some questions. And I'm going to go back to Joe's question. This comes from almost probably 25 minutes ago. Let me go to his question. We've got 3 questions so far. If anybody has a question, please put a capital Q with a semicolon. And whatever G said about getting some answers to the poll, I was confused on that as well. So I'm not sure what happens. But this is Joe's question from earlier. What about when you are landing the dice in one specific spot every time, and then someone feels the need to place their pass or DP in that area? Not sure what he means by.
I know what he means. I know what he means.
Yeah.
So there are really 2 or 3 scenarios for that, Joe. It's either a don't player that thinks that they can fluster you and you 7 out, so they make sure to do anything they can. And by placing their chips right in your landing zone, they know you have to make a change, throw you off your game, and they think it's a guaranteed win for them, for their $10 that they just put on the don't bet. They don't look at your, $640 across or $2,000 on the line. They don't care. They only care about their $10. It could also be a cooler where the casino comes in and brings people and they come in and just put chips right in your middle of your landing zone. But I've also seen it where somebody that don't know any better. They're just somebody that comes in, plays craps, and they don't know any better. If you're the shooter, you need to know what's your play at that point. Do you turn your bets off and take your odds and just leave the pass line and then throw and change your landing zone and hope that at least you can make the point? Do you pass the dice and keep your bets off, and then when the 7 comes, you collect and leave? Do you feel confident to move your landing zone and keep your bets on? You have to make those split decisions in under 12 seconds, because that's how long it takes for the stick man to take the dice and pass it to you. That's a lot to make in 12 seconds.
I got it.
Those scenarios happen over and over and over and over. You need to be able to master your play across, several years of experience. Don't wait until it happens before you say, I don't know what to do.
Well, Joe adds a fourth reason here is that because local players to that casino are conditioned to play a line bet. And new players that come up to the craps table and don't have any idea, what does the dealer tell you to do? Put whatever the table stakes are. In this case, let's say $10 or $15. Put $10 or $15 on the pass line. And that's the best bet on the table. So that's what people do. So Joe's right. And as Joe has conditioned himself and become a proficient in not only throwing the dice but understanding and reading the dice, he cares about those bombs in the middle of the landing zone, whether they be on the don't or the pass line.
Right. Right. But I'll tell you, I think Mr. Yo11 is in the chat. So we were in Cherokee a couple of weeks ago. Our second session was with a guy that he reserved one end of the table for him and his family. So he was a big bettor and he reserved the left side. We came in on the right side. He'll tell you, I'm not making this up. The dice came to me. I set the dice and threw them. And while the dealers were setting the bets, I heard them asking from the other side, hey, where do you want me to put the chips? Is that going to be in your way? I didn't say anything, but they realized that guy is setting the dice. Let's give our chances. Look, at the end of the day, if you move your chips away from the landing zone of where the dice is coming, that increases your chances of making money too, by the way. Not just the shooter, unless you're playing the dome. Which boggles my mind when people, are betting and making a lot of money and they're putting their bets right side on the line with the shooter, right where the shooter is landing the zone, because they don't know any better. Sometimes they don't know any better. And
right.
There are circumstances, if you have buddies, they'll go over there and say, hey, can you put that, because he's landing the zone here. Sometimes if you're by yourself, you may, say, hey, can you move the chips, or you can tell the dealer. If you're betting with the dealers, if you're putting money for the tips and the dealers, sometimes the dealers will say, hey, put it right here, he's landing it, because they have money on the line. They want to make money with you. That's why you tip the dealers. That's why you bet, you put money on the dealers on the table, so that they can be on your side, because they want to make money. People don't realize that. They're like, oh, I don't want to bet for the dealers. I barely have money for myself. It doesn't matter if it's $1, $5. If you put your dealers with you in the game, they want to make money. They will put positive energy because they want to make money.
All right,
that is the benefit of playing with a group of like-minded people. Yes, we saw that at the private table, Jeff, right? And a couple of other tables.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. We're going to move on to another question, guys. We do have some giveaways to do today. I have this box of Craps Nation official casino grade dice. I'm going to give away a sleeve. According to Mark, it's untouched, and we're going to give that away today. G's got a giveaway too, which I don't know what it is. We've kind of kicked it around what he's going to do, but I guess we'll wait to see what happens there. So let's go ahead to the next question.
We may have to do another poll. We may have to do another poll for it.
We may have to do another poll. So let's go ahead and put this question up. It comes from Craig at Old Bay Craps. What situation happens that made you start betting 640 across for 4 hits and down? Was it something positive you noticed, or with your toss?
So I always, I don't want to say always. Most of the time, if I'm tossing the dice, I'm starting with 640 across, because it's a topic for a different day. But when you walk into the casino, who's in control? After after the point is set, not made, set, who's in control? After the second or third roll, who's in control? And that depends on your buy-in and how you're betting. It's a topic for, we are going to have it. We are going to have it because a lot of people ask that question. The folks that were here at the man cave several weeks ago, we did that scenario. They understand what I'm talking about. And I'll just give you a teaser. If you buy in for 5,000 and you go 640 across for one hit, then regress down to 160 across, you're only $20 at risk. If you buy in for 500 and you go $30 6 and 8, you need that 6 and 8 to hit in order for you to be able to make your play. You're not in control. The casino's in control. And unless a 6 and 8 hit, you don't know what to do. You're just sitting there. And by the way, $60 of $500 is 8%. 640, around 8%. 640 of 5,000 is around 8%. You're both betting the same percentage. But after that first hit, if a 9 hit and the person with a 640 across goes down to 160 and only have $20, that's like maybe 1.1%, while you're still at 8%. It's a topic for another day. But I always do 640 for 4 hits and then down to 160 because I already made back at that point.
You did a little math, and KK has a good point here, and I'm glad he put it up here because it kind of timed with what we're talking about. He said most people will never understand you going 640 across, and we know a good friend of ours that does 13 whatever it works out to be, 1380 or whatever it is, 1280, 1300 across. Yep. They see the betting as that's being stupid, but KK says he understands. A player with a bigger bankroll going 640, and I can't afford to buy in like that. Gee, I'm gonna tell you I can't. But I don't do 640. I'm gonna do 220 or 330, whatever I'm gonna do with my money. And my percentage might be 12 or 15%. But I'm a regressor. I'm a fast regressor. Get the hand paid for, and then up and out. Most people stick the 96 out there and play stack the 8 or here's drop 1 and make press 22, which I've done before. But in this case, you did a good comparison. You get the whole 6 place bets. You get them taken care of with a $20 risk, and somebody's got $30 on the 6 and 8, hoping that those 10 times will come through sometime and they'll get paid 35, and they've got to hit it again to make any money. And I think that's the difference when they see people play big. And I know a couple of people that don't like to throw the dice when there's that kind of money on the table at the opposite end. But if somebody's going to come up there and drop big money on my throat, I could care less. That's their money.
Usually,
it doesn't matter.
Usually, when I used to go play in the morning and I had the table to myself, I would do 1280 because I wanted to get a couple of hits and then just regress as soon as possible. There are 2 types of players. There are players that play from paycheck to paycheck, and there are players that play with a bankroll. And by the way,
paycheck to paycheck should not be playing because that's bill money.
That's right. And what I mean by paycheck to paycheck is they don't have a bankroll. They don't have money saved up. They get paid twice a month. They save a little bit from the first paycheck, save a little bit from the second paycheck, go to the casino and have fun with it. So that's playing, paycheck to paycheck. The person with a bankroll can afford to do a higher bet because they have a bankroll. And yes, Arnell, if you get a PSO or 2, you still have a bankroll to be able to manage the volatility when you're down and up. That's why you have a bankroll. And by the way, there's a difference between a bankroll and what you take to the casino and what you buy in with. My bankroll, where's the camera? My bankroll is different than what I take to the casino and what I buy in with. That's something a lot of people don't understand, and they think I'm tapping myself on the shoulder. No. It's money management. I can afford to take a few PSOs because I have backing behind me. And all I need is a few good rolls and I can make the money back. The person with the $500 can't afford to do that.
Right. And I think that's what
They can't
Vic just
afford.
said.
They can't survive the volatility. That's a better way of doing it. They can't survive the volatility. I can, if I have money behind me, I can survive a few bad rolls.
But G,
But if
on the bad rolls, you're putting the 640 on yourself and somebody else that you have faith in. You're not doing that on every other player, but you are at the table by yourself a lot. When I was playing, when we were at the private table, you bet modestly on my roll. My first roll was the highest roll on that table for that entire 6-hour session. But when I came around, I noticed you upped your bets, and I didn't have such a good roll. But I noticed that it didn't bother you. I mean, it's not that you were mad or upset or frustrated.
No. No.
But
No,
but
nobody twisted my arm to put the bets down.
Right.
I mastered my play. I noticed, hey, he had a good roll. Okay, there's a good chance of him having a good roll again. I upped my bets. When I was down, I upped my bets on myself, and I had a good roll and make the money. So it's, first of all, if you can't believe in yourself after practicing and put money in where your mouth is, then don't even go to the casino. Why are you practicing and then going to the casino and playing $12 6 and 8? All that practice for $12 6 and 8. I mean, let's be honest here. If you go and get certifications in IT for code and servers and all that stuff, do you go get a job as a help desk person on the phone, or do you go get a job as a high-end developer? Because you put in the time and effort and the money. If you don't have confidence in yourself, when do you have confidence?
Common sense.
You gotta have confidence in yourself. Good, bad, or ugly. Good, bad, or ugly. You gotta trust yourself.
You see what Ed just said? She takes his
Yeah, I
money
know.
and leaves.
How did he
And then,
begin?
and then,
I thought you put a thing on here that he can't join the chat.
no, I did not. I would never do that. I would have loved to have him
And
on the show tonight.
I'm not trying to offend anybody or say you have a small bankroll that means that you're crap or anything. I'm just trying to tell you that there are ways to play the game, and there are ways to win. You can't win a lot of money or even small money by doing same bets. You can't win by starting small and can't regress. You don't have options. In the game of craps, the reason why people play craps is because it provides options. You can play the right side, you can play the don't side, you can play the center bets, you can play the field bets, you can have strategies. It's got options. You have to have options on how you bet in your bankroll too. If you come in with a small buy-in and can only do a $30 6 and 8, you're out of options. At that point, the casino owns you. You're not in control.
All right, let's look at this chat.
And all you need to do is survive that first roll, that PSO.
Read that chat from Nick.
I was just telling another craps content maker that craps isn't about EV, it's about volatility. Have to control the level of volatility.
I think I understand what he's trying to say, and that goes with that same common sense side. If you look at the game, which if you do the math, 6 to 8 rolls is average, and when you come on and you play with me on my daytime shows or one of the other 70 other users that are using that app, you expect and you want that long roll. Gee, anybody can make money on a long roll. Can you make money on your short roll or a more than, let's say, a 6 to 10 roll? That's where you're going to make the bulk of your money, because you and I both know, even you, G, you might be on for the day. You might have had 4 good rolls, and on that 5th roll, you decide to go from 640 to 1280, and boom, you're out, and you've lost that. Yep. So
anybody can PSO. And I don't care who you are. Anybody can PSO just like that. I tell people talk to me about, well, what's your SRR? What's your SSR? And what's your SSN? And what's your, and all that. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I just want to hit 4 numbers after I set the dice. That's all I want to do. I want to hit 4 numbers. And even if I 7 out after that, I still made money. And I sit here and practice and practice and practice. And if I can't do this 8 times out of 10, I have no business being in the casino. I've said that before. I've said that before.
But I've seen you get upset with yourself after a roll when, like Ed said, you go cash in, and then you come over and you flaunt this ticket from the slot machine where you stuck $300 in it and won $1,600. You have that horseshoe for the slot machine. Why are you even playing craps if you have that horseshoe for the slot machines?
Craps give me the incentive to go and make money on the slot machines. Dr. Dan put a question in there. If you can put it up, I'm looking at the chats and it just flashed. A little. I don't know if it's.
I've got all of them. I've got them queued up. If you want to go next, but before we do that, G, because we're 50 minutes into it, I'm going to give them the password. Yeah, we are 50 minutes into the show. Can you imagine? I'm going to give them the password for my giveaway, which is a sleeve coming out of this box of Craps Nation official Craps dice. As you can see, there's plenty of them in there. We're going to give one of those away, and I'm going to give everybody the password that's here, the 60 people that are here watching. And then we'll go to Dan's question. Now, he's got 3 parts to the question, so we're going to have to work our way through the question. But it's very simple tonight, guys, to get this dice, here. It's I need dice. INEED DICE. Just plain and simple. Put it in the chat. Do not space it out. It's all one word. I need dice. And in a few minutes, we'll go ahead and give this sleeve of dice away because, gee, we got to get to what you're giving away. But let's go to Dan's question. I just want to make sure somebody gets the actual word in. I need dice so I can make sure that my software is working. And it is working. Cool beans. So let's go over to Dan's question. And let's get the question out of the way. So Dan has a multi-port question. You might not have caught it all. So I'm going to start with his first one, and we're going to continue on. Lately, my strategy has been to power press for 5 hits and collect the 6th hit. Starting wager has been as low as 32 inside to as high as 255 inside. The wager is dependent on my bankroll. Now, G, he has another part to it, so don't start talking yet. Then he says, has G ever played all-in betting strategy, and if so, why? And then he said he's clarifying that he uses that strategy on himself, and then he comes back with one more question and clarifying that as well. And then his final portion to his question, Dan's, was, does your toss consistently get poorer the longer you play? So there's a 3-part question. Let's go back to this one first here, the part about power pressing. Your ideas on that.
So
my question. Go ahead.
I'll tell you. VDC, Vegas Dice Controller. He power presses for. I believe it's for on himself when he's rolling the dice. He power presses for 8 hits and then comes down to base. Because he believes, just like I believe, I can do at least 4 before the bad number shows up. He believes he can do 8. So he power presses, starts low and power presses all the way up. But he doesn't just go all in. He says, more units. But after every one, he takes a little bit. He takes a little bit with every one. By the time he hits number 8, he's already made up his baseline. So he has some kind of a hybrid. I've seen other people do it. I've been tempted to do it. But I've done it on other shooters that were having a good roll, and got it up to a certain point, and then regressed down. I've never done it on myself. I've been tempted to do it, but I'm afraid if I do it on myself, I mess myself up because I'm only used to that. But there's nothing wrong with it. Okay. I forgot what the second part is.
I'm going to cue that back up. I just want to make everybody aware that there you see, I need dice is the word, the password for this show to win this dice. We haven't even got the G's giveaway yet. So he also wanted to know, have you ever played an all-in strategy? Like I suppose maybe rail dump. I don't know.
Rail dump. Yeah. I cannot tell a lie. Yeah, in the casino, not just on the Scrappy app. In the casino. Yeah, I've rail dumped. I've rail dumped.
And then his third part was
I got lucky. I got lucky a few times. It worked in my favor, but other times it was, nope, thank you, bye bye. I don't recommend it, by the way. Yes, definitely. The longer you're at the table throwing, the worse your toss can get. I've seen it so many times. Somebody has a good toss, long roll, and everybody passes the dice to that person. You should never, ever do that. When somebody has a long roll and they 7 out, that if that person is a chuck and luck, they may not care. But if that person is a dice setter, that toss has deteriorated. It's going to get lower and lower rolls. And usually, now maybe that's superstition, I don't know, but usually after a long roll, you can ask dice coach about that. After a long roll, the universe has to equal itself. You're going to have some short rolls. Usually after a long roll, Ed will tell you where I'm going. I'm going to the cage, getting me some dollars, and going to find a slot machine to make more money.
All right.
So yes, Dr. Dan, my opinion, not fact, but Gargoyle's opinion, the longer you stay at the table, the time is your worst enemy, regardless. But the long, if you're on a long roll, after a while you're tired, you're mentally exhausted, and you try and practice that every day at your table at home. But in the casino, it takes effect because there are all kinds of situations happening. After a while, it will get to you.
Let me just clarify. The word is I need dice, all one word. I put somebody in here. I thought it was not Alan T, but another Alan D. Okay, you've got it corrected, guys. Yeah, it's just spell the word just like this. He's got it right now. It's I need dice, all one word. That's the way the software works, no spaces. But G, we've gone through the questions, so I'm going to call a final call on questions of tonight's episode as we head into past the 1 hour mark on our show today, G. So I'll be giving my dice away here in just a few minutes. 66, 64, well, it just dropped down to 59 people have watched, so I don't know how many guesses we have, but we'll give that away. So before I'm going to call for a final question, if you have a question, please put it in a capital Q and a semicolon. My system will pick it up. I can get past all these I need dice entries, and we can go back to a question. So, G, before I give mine away, do you want to talk about what your prize is going to be? Which did we decide on?
I don't know. Do you want to take a poll?
That's up to you. We certainly can.
All right. So let me tell you why I'm kind of So last time I gave a half a day class with Dice Coach. If you're going to Vegas, I could do the same thing, or I could maybe give 5.
Don't say the word. Just say the app.
Yeah, 5 licenses to the app. For 5 people, okay. So 5 people could have a chance to Craxy.
Don't say the word.
I didn't say that. I used a K, not a P. AI should pick it up, or else it's a bad AI.
Okay.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? 1 person gets a chance, or 5 people?
So I'm setting it up now. Class with coach or subscription. So we're going to give this about 10 minutes. I'm spelling subscription wrong, guys. I'm sorry. My fingers are not working. Here's your next poll. Put in there what you want G to give away. And G, what does the class involve? What does the class actually involve? How many people? How long? Dave, short class, long class?
So usually you can go by yourself or with your significant other. Coach will say, do you already know how to throw the dice? Show me what you got and stuff like that. Work with you on that. Or he'll say, what do you want to work on? Betting. It's half a day. It's usually 4 hours. You get to pick Dice Coach's brain one-on-one. Literally, you want to work on betting. You want to work on discipline. You want to work on dice tosses.
When we say Dice Coach, we're talking Bo Parker.
Bo Parker, yeah, Dice Coach. Yeah.
All right.
And I've been taught by the Holy Trinity. I spent a lot of times with them. Heavy taught me betting and money management. Howard, may he rest in peace. I hope he's playing craps in heaven with a whole bunch
Me
of
too.
other people that I know that are there. He taught me dice sets, dice tosses. Dice coach taught me discipline. He took a welder and welded it in my head. He is the best person to teach you discipline. So, but he also knows how to set the dice and toss. He knows betting and all that stuff. So it could be one person and a significant other going there, or it could be 5 1-year licenses. So
Look, well, it looks
the
like we're
votes
not
are
going
coming.
to. We're going to let this go for about 5 more minutes. Right now, it's leading with the class with the coach, which
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So that's where we're going to let it go, and I'm going to go ahead and give away my prize here in just a few minutes. I'm going to just real quick check to make sure we didn't miss a question. So let me search the questions with a Q to make sure I didn't miss something in between that. So, guys, if you have a question for G and or for me, but more so for G, please put a capital Q and a semicolon. If we haven't touched it, I haven't seen it, so re-ask it in case I missed it. Capital Q, semicolon, and then ask your question. So, G, I'm going to switch over, and when I switch you over to the screen to give away this pair of dice, we've got I'm a last call for that. I need dice, INEED, DICE, all one word. 60 people watching. We've got 38 people entered into that side of it. Going to give it about another 60 seconds, and then we'll go back and we'll see what the survey says about the actual G's prize that he wants to give away. So I need dice. I'll put Larry's up here, and he just added to the entries. But that's how you put it in there. So, guys, if you like the show today as we're going on, because we're going to talk towards the end of the show today after G's giveaway, we're going to talk a little bit about futures, and I want to give a couple plugs out for some things, and G wants to give some things. So just bear with us. I see one more question coming in. If you like the show, give us a thumbs up, if you will. You can even put the word G with a thumbs up. It doesn't matter about me, so we know what we're doing, and if we're doing something that you like to do. That you'd like to see. So let me switch screens, G, and I'll turn your audio on once I get switched over to the screen, so you can talk with us too. And then we'll go ahead and give this pair of dice away. If I can get my mouse to work. Okay, G, your audio is hot now. Okay. Last call. I need dice. If you want to win, and I'm going to tell you which one you're going to win. Let's pull a sleeve out so we can verify the serial number. Here's the box. I'm just going to reach somewhere down below because I've been picking the ones on the top, and they've all been the same ones. So let's see. Let's take this one here. And
they've all been the PSO ones.
Yeah, they've all been the You're right about that. Pin that. All right, so here it is, guys. It's serial number 25. Why is it 2529? Seems to me that already sounds familiar. It might be because they're different dice. And just for Mark, Mad Hatter, I'm going to open it to see what color it is, and then I'll close it back up, but I won't touch the dice unless Mark wins. Then I'm going to rub the dice all over it, probably going to put them in Bailey's water bowl and let her...
Yeah, give it to Bailey. Let her play with it for a little bit.
They are the black ones, guys. I don't know if you can see that. That's not blue.
Oh, nice.
That is the first set of black, and they're 19 millimeters. They're the big dice, so there you have it. It's going to be a black set of dice that we're going to give away here shortly. So make sure you put the I need dice in the chat, and then once we declare a winner, you have to go to midatlanticcraps.com. In the center of the menu, promotions and contest, there's a blue button after you click that says claim my prize. Fill that out. For the prize, you choose dice or not swag. So you do that and make sure you put all the information in. And guys, with either one of these prizes tonight, make sure you at least give us the address for you so we can get up in contact with you. And please fill all the information out, because phone numbers do help, especially when the address may be mixed up. I found out from the shipping company I'm working with that they really like to have a phone number for where it's going. So keep that in mind. I know some people don't like to get their phone numbers out, but it is what it is. Trey, you're funny. So let's go ahead and give the dice away. And it says, I can't see what it says, 38. 38, is that what it says? 38. Here we go. Let's give the dice away in 3, 2, And one. And one. There we go. Wattage, Scott. Couldn't think of a better person to win those dice to look good on that table, Scott. Scott, that's Wattage Live Craps. I don't know if he's still here. I haven't seen him in the chat lately. We'll see if he kicks in here. Scott, you are the winner of the dice. Let me switch over here to this screen. Scott, you know what to do. Hit the midatlanticcraps.com webpage, promotions, claim your prize. And Scott is a user of the app, and he's got a YouTube channel, so make sure you give him a like and a subscribe too. And that is Wattage Live Craps. So, Scott, congratulations. Has he popped in here yet?
So now you gotta shuffle it a few times to make sure that doesn't win that other one again, right?
Yeah, this one's the shuffler's the other side. G, it's not that side of the software.
Okay.
So it's looking like on your subscription, on your giveaway, G, they want to go with the class with Bo Parker in Vegas, and it's a half day with you or your significant other. Now, I want to premise this by my good friend Ed over to Roll to Win has partnered up with 10 Ton and Bo to offer classes themselves in Vegas, and they've got a class. And Ed, put it in the chat if you will. What the first date available is? It's in March. I know it's in March, but they've got some other dates too. So if you can't win this course, is what I'm trying to say, is you could always go and sign up for the class with Bo, Ed, and 10 Ton. And the first class that they held, or the first courses they held, they wound up holding 2 days. And my understanding is they had a hell of a party on Friday night too. So if Ed's still here, he can put that in there. It's in March giveaway. So let's go over here, G. And I had a question while I have to queue all this up on the poll. So you have to give me a second. I was going to put another question up here for you to answer.
Yeah, it's all right. I think you can end the poll. I think most everybody wants to.
I am going to end the poll, but I have to put something up there so I can set it up to give it away, because we have to be able to give it away. Where is the longest? I just saw one in here. Oh, well, I'll put this one up here for now, and you can put that in a question with class with Coach Parker was the best thing I ever had done in a while. Here's a better one. Here's Mark. Answer this question, because I think, is she close by you? Is she close by? Is it Dolly or has he got either one close by?
Angie's not close by, but since he asked, maybe we can give him a little teaser of what may be coming in next year. Yeah, come here, Dolly. Yep. Why don't you come over here and say hi to the folks? Trying to see where the light.
Yeah, the light's kind of tilt it forward some, Jay. Tilt it towards you, but don't let them things poke you. Okay, yeah. There's Dolly. So, G, in 2025, what is it you're talking about?
Well, people definitely want to keep these types of chats going, and for the folks online listening, Jeff and I need to record our conversation when we're on the phone, because every one of our conversation goes for about 45 minutes. And then at the end, he says, I hope you wrote down some of the stuff what we said, because that would be a good session for us. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. I'm sorry. So what we're going to do next year is we're going to I'm going to hold my phone and he's going to hold his phone, and we're going to be live on YouTube acting like we're talking on the phone. No, I'm just kidding. But I think we're going to continue. Folks have been asking. It's been encouraging. They've been encouraging me to do a little bit more, because, as you know, I was kind of, on the side a little bit. But I've been encouraged and been told that, I would be going back on my word if I don't go back and show some tosses, because I promised to show some of Howard's tosses and stuff like that. So I think maybe I'm not sure. We're still in conversations, but maybe once a month there's going to be a mechanics session with 4 or 5 different camera angles on the dice, grip, and toss. We're going to go one a month, so maybe 12 tosses. Are
all these Howard tosses, or are they other tosses?
No, just mixed. The first request was for the underhand toss. So coming soon, maybe in January, there will be a dice mechanic show where people can ask questions in real time. It's not going to be a like we usually do, just throw dice. It's going to be a dice mechanic talk about grip, toss, why, and all that stuff. Don't worry about landing zone and what the dice does, because each toss will act different on my table. Not all tosses will work on my table, but from a grip perspective, swing, toss, the mechanics of it, that's what people want to see from different camera angle shots. So I got 4, maybe 5 cameras that will portray that. So that's what we're thinking. We're going to keep it educational. Ed's going to be doing some stuff with us. He and I may be doing something on his Patreon channel that's a little bit different than just mechanics. There may be a Christmas special next week. I don't know. We don't know yet.
It's possible that there could be
between
special.
Jeff Mutt and the Butthead, or something like that. We're just stay tuned. But yeah.
All right, let me catch this while Ed's still here. I see he's in the chat. He may have taken a call or something. Ed, I just pushed your dice experience classes in Vegas, and I didn't know the exact date in March. If you're here and you want to punch them in the chat, I'll be glad to put that up there in the chat. Guys, did I give you the password for G's Bo Parker seminar? You and your significant other? I didn't give it to him. It's simply this, guys. G is the man. All one word. The letter G, ISTHEMAN. G is the man, and we'll give that away.
No, I'm not. I'm a man, but not the man.
The man. G is the man. G is the man. Let me make
Dolly
sure
said
somebody
I'm
gets
her
it up
man.
there.
Dolly said I'm her man. I think that's more important.
I want to make sure I've got everything set up. I'm looking for the first one to come in that puts it in there. The letter G, ISTHE. G is the man. All one word. All one word, guys. I'm looking for the first one to come in here. Let's see. There's one there. It looks like Nish has got it. Let me see if that shows up right. That's it. G is the man, and we're going to give away this half day seminar with Bo Parker.
And while people are putting the password in, if we didn't have time to answer all the questions, anyone can always post questions in the comments. Jeff and I try to monitor them for a while. So if you have questions in the comments, we'll make sure to kind of, either answer them or answer them on the next segment. If you have something good to say about the show, in the comments, that's fine. If you hate the show, that's fine. You can post in the comments. Just keep it opinions, not personal. But like I said, for people that are new watching the show or watching the replay from outside, this is just our experiences in the casino. We give advice. We don't scam anybody. We don't guarantee you anything. We don't try and sell you on something. We just talk about experiences and give advice, opinions. And honestly, that's what everybody should be doing. But unfortunately, they don't. So we keep it real here. Why did G play craps with all those $50 bills coming into the table?
I've already
because I was there
with that one.
I was this close of tearing him one at the table and walking away, but then I remembered the wives were there, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to cause a bigger scene when I go tell my wife, let's go. I just took one for the team and played. But it only happens once in a blue moon, and the blue moon already happened. That ain't going to happen again. If somebody else does it to me, I'm going to say, guys, screw you. Like I'm not going to quote who it was, but you guys will know. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah, look at that. You should have your own show. You should have your own channel. It should be the G spot.
Well, I got the GK.
We already found out that there was a G spot at the table tonight earlier in the show. If you guys came late, we're going to go back and visit that.
I practice every day on my table, and I still haven't found the spot.
Oh,
Let's just
Well,
leave it at that.
I'm not going to comment. I did text Ed, but it looks like Rick put the dates of the next Roll to Win Craps 10-ton in Bow
I
Park
know it's
seminar is
7
March
to 9.
7th.
Yeah, 7
Yep.
March 7th
Yep.
and 9th. That's the only ones that I know.
Right. Right. The question was, why did G play craps with all the $50 bills? Did you answer that? Did I already hit that already?
Yeah, I already answered it.
All right. So
I
if you
took one for
answered
the
it,
team
uh,
because the
I,
wives were there and they were, and it was red, and you know that was his first and only mistake. He's not going to make another mistake as long as I know him with me at the table. We already had that talk.
we're going to answer this question because Dylan just got here, and I'm going to answer it because I don't want G to talk about the dark side. I'll answer the question. Common Sense Craps, does it ever include the dark side? Dylan wants to know LOL, so he's laughing out loud. It
will.
can. It will,
It
can,
can.
and does. And I'm going to answer because G doesn't like to play that. But as I said earlier on the show, I bet my way I bet on myself, on other people, but on people I don't know, never seen throw, or somebody struggling, I do a 6, 7, 8. So putting the DP out there or run it through the DC, to me, that's the dark side. I'm just getting the 6, 7, 8 covered. Sometimes odd, sometimes not odd. So, Dylan, yes, Common Sense Craps says that you can play the game however you want to, know your limitations, know the game, and just don't go with the rent money.
Right.
Go ahead, G. Finish it up.
Sometimes it makes sense to go dark. I won't, but sometimes it makes sense to do that.
But you don't.
No.
All right. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and give away G's prize,
I'm like
which is-
the most international man in the world, whatever you call it. I don't always play dark side, but when I do, I don't.
Oh my God, G, you're getting silly, so it must be getting late. Look, guys, we've only got 30 entries in for G's show out of 58 people that are here. G is the man. Make sure you spell it right. G is the man, all one word, just like Jay just put in here. I think he's got it right. And we'll give it about another minute or two. We'll give the show away. We'll come and give to the closing of the show. I've got a couple things I want to talk about. G wants to talk about something as well. I've already promoted Ed's Roll to Win show. Coming up in 2025, G and I are going to come back with what he said, techniques on once a month or so on a specific roll. We do have a Christmas special plan. We have a scheduling problem with that, so hopefully Ed, G, and I can get together, and it's just going to be a storytelling time of what happened in 2025 with the three of us. You guys can come and chat, and we'll take your experiences as well and talk about them as well. And it's going to be.
If you don't mind, I'd like to make a few shameless plugs.
I was going to get to you.
OBC.
I wasn't finished yet.
Oh,
I know what you're going to plug.
go
Go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead.
Old Bay Craps has a channel. He is close to 1K subscribers, and myself, I would love to see him get 1K. I don't think he cares, but I think he's 917. So if you guys are watching this show, go to his Old Bay Craps channel, subscribe and like. He does some good things. He plays the don't, so not everybody's perfect, but that's all right. I'm just kidding, OBC. He does he puts on a good show. I know Mr. Yo 11. He's 300 plus. He wants to, I think, make 500. Sarge has a good channel. I think he's close to 600. He would love to make 1K. These guys, by the way, don't care if they do or not. I care for them because I think that they are doing something cool and they deserve. Others do, but we don't have all night to name all the others. But I want to do some plugs for these guys.
All right. Did you mention Yo 11? Because I thought you were going to mention him.
Yes.
Okay. I
Yes.
missed it while I was queuing stuff up.
And 32, and we're hoping to get him up to 500, and maybe next year get him up to 1K. But he does good stuff. He puts some of what he does at work, but he also he's doing we're taking baby steps with him on his mechanics, and it's freezing out there. Last time he went out there dressed like an Eskimo, and I'm like, I don't know how, and he wants me to go out there and throw on his table. I'm like, yeah, when the sun's up, like in May or June. In no way I'm gonna go and put on 5 sweaters and go throw in the cold. I'll be like,
Well, we have a lot of YouTubers watching tonight. Joe just put in there. He's close to 3,000. Let's get Joe to the 3,000 mark. That's Craps Master Journey Joe. If you haven't seen his Level Up program, it happens almost every weekday morning, 9 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock his time. Joe works at night. He comes home, and before he goes to bed, he hits the table and puts on a heck of a production of a show there. So we want to get them up. Arnell over at Dice Grinders. For those of you that don't know, he's running live fantasy craps every Wednesday night. I didn't get a chance to drop in last night. He typically has anywhere from 5 to 10 shooters along with himself, plays along with the app. Make sure you like and subscribe Arnell's channel. He's got a good following as well. And Craig says thank you for promoting his. Scott, I saw you put in here that is it going to be a Very Merry Crapsmas show? It is. That's actually what it's going to be. We just have to get time to actually schedule it and make sure we know. I don't want to give a date because we're down to 2 dates, and we'll have giveaways for that show as well. So just come and join us.
And we're going to
recap 2025.
Yeah, we can't do both dates because one will be jealous of the other, so we have to pick only one date.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. So, G, I think we've kind of brought this out long enough to get 30 entries. We've got 60. Catch up with me. It says 59. Keeps flipping back between 59 and 60 watching. Only 30 entries if you want to get that class with Bo. And is there any time limit on that where they would have to go? I mean, like within a year?
Yeah, sometime next year. And, whoever wins it, they can reach out to me, originalgargoyle@gmail.com, and I can tell them what they need to do and how to work it out with Bo, and schedule it, because he has to be available for it too, and not conflict with another class and stuff like that. But,
right.
I'm hoping that they at least do it within 2025.
All right. Yeah, well, I would hope that they would do it as well. So, look, we've just got a couple more entries in for your giveaway. We're going to go ahead and give that away. Then we're going to have our closing remarks. I told people all week long on my show that typically we go about an hour or so on this show. We were going to go longer because we were giving this stuff away and had to have times for people to win the prizes. So here we go, guys. G is the man. Last call, final call. Can't phone a friend. Put it in the chat. G is the man, just like Bags has it there. You could do capital letters or not. Just don't have any spaces or letters in between it, and you will be qualified for the drawing. G, I want to wish you and Martha a very Merry Christmas. I know I'll talk to you before then. Hopefully we'll get our Christmas Crapsmas show out, and we'll be able to say Merry Christmas to everybody again, but just in case we don't, I appreciate you coming on board today. Looks like another nice, successful live show with our community is so small. The niche of craps on YouTube is so minute compared to everything that people's out there doing, whether they're fishing, cooking, or other gaming. We're such a small niche, and for everybody to come spend some time with us, to be able to listen to us, and if you really want to hear some stories, come to the Craftsmas special.
And speaking of the community, I believe it's Sunday, but if Chris, Dice Dejan, or OBC, I think it's time for Craps Chat this Sunday. Maybe not. I don't know, but.
No, there's a Craps Chat this Sunday. I was going to promote that at the end. There's a Craps Chat coming up Sunday the 15th over on Casino Gaming TV YouTube channel. At least I was told there was.
So make sure you go in there and watch these shows.
All right. Well, we're about ready to give this away. So, G, we've got about 5 minutes left to get off the air, and Bailey has brought me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 toys while we've been on, because she wants to play. Because typically what happens during the daytime is I'm behind the table standing up, moving back and forth from all this stuff, and she walks out. I've been sitting here. She's like, hey, why are you sitting? Play with me. So, but I have to go and take her out. Skill says, yes, it is on the 15th. I talked to Chris earlier. He was pretty sure that it was going to be the 15th. That's this coming Sunday over on Casino Gaming TV. That's the next episode of Craps Chat. I had a wonderful 2 years with Dylan co-hosting that. Now, Chris, I turned it over to a man half my age, we learned this week or more. That's Chris Dice Dejan from the channel Dice Dejan. He's from Philly.
Don't
Where
worry,
did he move?
he's gonna grow really old really fast with all gray hair. He just got engaged, so he's gonna get
Oh
old
my
really
gosh.
fast.
Well, you ready to give this away?
Yes, sir. Let's give it away.
All right, so we're going to give it away here, give it away now. Here we go, guys. G is the man for a half-class session with you or your significant other. I was going to say wife or girlfriend, but some people might take both. But in any event, boom, there's a joke of the day. Here we go, guys. 3, 2, and 1. Jay. Jay.
Holy crap, Jay!
Somebody's going to say this is rigged.
It
Somebody's going to
is so
say
rigged. It's not even funny. It is so
Oh,
rigged.
oh my
It's not
gosh.
even funny. And you know what's even funnier? He was asking me about a class with Coach the other day. It is so rigged. No, no, we're just kidding. We're just kidding.
It's not rigged. It's not
Congrats,
rigged.
Jay.
Nope. Congratulations to Jay. Guys, I'm going to finish up with my plug here tomorrow. If you want to win a sleeve or two of dice, come with us tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock on the Mid-Atlantic Craps channel. If you don't like the app when we play along, listen to my funny entertainment as Craig so graciously spelled it wrong and Chris spelled it right. It's called Enter Educational Channel. It's where I act like a fool. I roll out some dice. You see how bad I am or how good I am. I practice my betting. We have 80 people play along with us in the app. It's just a fun time. Plus, all the month of December, I'm giving away that box of dice. There's $1,000 worth of dice there I'm giving away. Counting shipping on the sleeve of dice is about $50. And if you don't win dice, I don't know if it's still up, but over on Casino Tiers, they've got a special they've got running on their dice as well. So you might want to go over and check that out. But I'm giving these away for free. Every day I go live, I'm giving a sleeve of dice away between now and December 24th. All right, guys, I think that's time for us to wrap it up. Chris, thank you. Ooh, I don't have the right. I was pinning people's chat, and they weren't even showing. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the show. I appreciate you thinking it was a good show. Because I'm telling you, Chris, at times tonight, I got to wonder whether it was a good show. Because G does get long-winded at times. G, did you know you get long-winded?
No, not me. Never. I don't know what you're talking about. What time is it? We still got 2 hours, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, there are some niches on YouTube that they actually end the show and then they carry on an after show. That like the guy puts a screen up and he walks away and gets a drink and he comes back and they continue talking. But we're not going to do that. We've tried that post show stuff before on Craps Chat when I was running it. Man, an 8-hour session is just too much for me. Sarge, very excellent comment there and a very excellent compliment, I should say. Excellent show tonight, guys. Looking forward to Merry Christmas all. So, yes, thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. When I'm producing a show, G's talking, and sometimes I don't comprehend everything that he's saying. One, because I've heard it before. No, I'm just kidding. Because I'm producing a show and trying to queue up everything. But I appreciate everybody's patience with me tonight. Come back and join us. That's all I got to say. We just hit the 1 hour and 30-minute mark, G. Closing remarks. Closing comments, not remarks. Comments. That's short, G.
Boy, you caught me off guard.
Wow, caught him off guard.
No, because I got a text and I was thinking about what to answer. Closing remarks. I know people sometimes wonder why we are teaching common sense. We're not teaching common sense. We're just talking common sense. And sometimes people need to be reminded of certain things. And it's okay to have these conversations because 90% of the people on the chat or watching may already know this, but the 2% or 3% may not, and it's for that person's benefit or for those benefits. Final comments: play smart, master your play, and I'm going to take a page out of Roll to Win. Practice like you play like you practice.
Oh, you stole his outro, but we may hear that in a couple, 7 to 10 days. We may hopefully get our Christmas special out, and it looks like people want to see it. So people want to see it. We're going to try to put it together. Thank you, Winfield. I appreciate that comments. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to call the show. Look for us in January 2025 back for, we don't know if we're going to call it Common Sense Craps, but we're going to call it something with G and me, and we'll have some guests on. Hopefully we'll have some people join us, like Ed, when he can sit in with us. It's always a fine time because, Ed tells it like it is, and there's no doubt about that. Thank you, Vegas Day Tripper. I saw you in the chat earlier. I did want to mention something about you guys. If you haven't been to Vegas Day Tripper's channel,
hello, my friend. Yeah, go ahead.
If you haven't been to his channel, Vegas Day Tripper, you need to go check it out. That's all I'm going to tell you. I don't want to say too much more, but you need to go check that out. And you want to see what really happens at a craps table, go watch some of his videos. Go watch some of them. Yep, that's all I'm going to say. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get out of here. And I'm going to say it. God bless each every one of you. If you don't come back for the Craftsmas special, I think we stole that line from the show last year. But anyway, it is what it is. If you don't come back, have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you after the New Year, if not before then. Everybody, tonight, be safe, play smart, and we will see you on the next one.